You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Godzilla vs. Kong is set to come out next year, and while there's still rumor around the idea of a pushback, as it currently stands, March is the set date for this being the big rematch between two iconic movie monsters. But there's a constant question, one that cannot be answered until we actually see the movie, but in this video, we're going to do our best to answer objectively who wins between Godzilla and Kong. To do this, we will first look at each monster's strength, their weakness, and finally, what could be the deciding factor. Let's take a look at Godzilla. One of Godzilla's strengths is his fortitude and his endurance. While he is king of the monsters, you could also argue that he is also the king of comeback. Godzilla has a history of epic battles, including his most recent war against King Ghidorah. And while needing an extra push from time to time by allies, he has for the most part faced many of his battles one-on-one, or even against multiple monsters. Godzilla also has his infamous atomic breath. A lethal weapon which at times has meant the difference between victory and defeat. Godzilla also has an extraordinary amount of battle experience, fighting different monsters over the course of 60 plus years. He is battle hardened, overwhelmingly powerful, and even when you think you might have him down for the count, he will surprise you with his capability to fight through adversity. Kong's strength comes from intelligence and athleticism. He has proven to be much faster and smarter than most of his opponents. Kong has shown to have his own fair share of endurance and is also capable of handling multiple monsters at one time. In the past, Kong has also shown the capability to harness electricity. However, this is a power we are unsure we will see in this current iteration of the giant ape. Kong's experience fighting is not as on the surface as Godzilla, but living on an island with other monsters is good evidence that he possibly might even have more experience. But also being a king of the island, it is also possible that many would not oppose him, so it is just as likely he lacks the experience as well. With so little known about this upcoming version of Kong, I would also give him the strength of the element of surprise for a multitude of reasons. Not knowing your opponent's size or condition going into a fight is an advantage Kong will have over Godzilla. But also, most importantly, actually having the element of surprise going into a fight in terms of tactics is a huge advantage as well. Kong is capable of coming up with a battle plan. He learns from his fights. And this is something that has proven to serve him well, and it will serve him well in the coming fight. In terms of weaknesses, it's hard to imagine Godzilla having one, but he does. Godzilla is like a daredevil in a fight. He often charges in without thinking and wildly puts his body on the line with the expectation he can take the blow and deliver one just as heavy in return. In a fight like this, that approach could mean catching a lot of hits and landing very few in return. For a real-life example of this, look at highlights of the George Foreman-Ali match from many years ago. Foreman essentially charges at Ali, while Ali dodges and counters, eventually wearing out Foreman. Another potential weakness for Godzilla in this fight is his atomic breath. The legendary version of Godzilla completely telegraphs his atomic breath, and with Kong's speed, it could easily be dodged. Godzilla is also much slower than Kong, which can leave him open to many hit-and-run tactics. While on the surface it looks like an easy win for Godzilla, in actuality, Kong is a direct counter to Godzilla. When you look at the tail of the tape, he doesn't necessarily have to be as powerful as Ghidorah, he just has to be smarter and faster. For Kong, while he is a direct counter to Godzilla, he is also a glass cannon. Sure, he may have the ability to dodge most of Godzilla's attacks, and he can definitely take some of Godzilla's hits. but I don't think he has the endurance to match Godzilla in a long fight. He is likely to be extremely susceptible to Godzilla's breath, and a massive tail swipe could rattle Kong. One of the things about an opponent with a speed advantage is that you constantly have to move, but if you get caught, it is usually game over. This will be the case with Godzilla's breath versus Kong's speed. As I said, Kong can dodge it, but he's very susceptible to the breath if he gets caught. This is the best way I can look at this battle currently, gathering what information we have. But not knowing Kong's size and his potential power he might have still keeps this open-ended. One other weakness Kong could have is his fortitude. Godzilla is an emotionless rock, but Kong has emotions. What we've learned about emotion through combat, whether it's a boxing match, a UFC fight, or even on the gridiron playing football, is that it can either motivate you or bury you. Fighting an opponent like Godzilla, which is nothing this Kong has ever experienced, could really test his fortitude. If the fact that he is having trouble bringing Godzilla down gets into his head, it could have him put his confidence into question. If Godzilla indirectly threatens Kong's island, this could push Kong's emotions over the top and cause him to attack on impulse as opposed to thought, which could easily get Kong in trouble. So after this analysis, you made it to the end, and you want an answer. Who wins? Well, my bias says Godzilla, because he has always found a way to win facing bigger odds than Kong would ever represent to him. But I also believe that Kong is, as I said, a direct counter to Godzilla, and is just as capable of winning. Until we learn more about Kong going into the movie next year, it's hard to answer. But even after we see the changes, I still think it's a flip of the coin. I am Team Godzilla, but I respect Kong, and I recognize that his odds of winning are just as good. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to E.T.N, as we have a lot more great content coming your way. And until the next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.